are not going to be able to put the quiz on the screen tonight for you all. So we just ask you, if you will, just on your paper, just put numbers 1 through 10. And when we ask the question, we always repeat it more than one time. So that way you can hear the questions real well. Anybody else need a pencil or a pen? Brother Mark need one. Oh, he just needs a test. Okay. This was some very, very good reading. Thank you, ma'am. David and Absalom. Today I was discussing this lesson with another minister, and he has not read it. He knows only a little bit about it, just with bits and pieces. So it's good for us to know the Bible and know the Word of God, so that when somebody starts talking about the characters in the Bible, you'll be familiar with what they're talking about. All right. We're studying in 2 Samuel chapters 16 through 20. As I said, we're reading through the Bible. We have already read through the entire New Testament. And in the Old Testament, we're up to 2 Samuel chapter 16 through 20. That was our assignment for this week. All right, question number 1. And I may not pronounce all these names right, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Shimei of the household of Saul cursed David and threw stones at him. Shimei of the household of Saul cursed David and threw stones at him. Number 2. Absalom went in unto, laid with his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Absalom went in unto, laid with his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Number 3. Ahithophel gave Absalom counsel to attack David while he was weak and weary. Ahithophel gave Absalom counsel to attack David while he was weak and weary. Number 4. Absalom followed the counsel of Ahithophel because he was a wise counselor. Absalom followed the counsel of Ahithophel because he was a wise counselor. Number 5. David gave the captains of his army command to deal gently with his son Absalom. David gave the captains of his army a command to deal gently with his son Absalom. Number 6. When David heard of the death of his son Absalom, he wept for his son. When David heard of the death of his son Absalom, he wept for his son. Number 7. Joab grieved with the king over the death of Absalom, the king's son. Joab grieved with the king over the death of Absalom, the king's son. Number 8. Shimei was put to death for his evil deeds toward the king after the king's victory. Shimei was put to death for his evil deeds toward the king after the king's victory. Number 9, when David came back to Jerusalem, he rejoined his 10 concubines that were left behind to keep his house. When David came back to Jerusalem, he rejoined his 10 concubines that were left behind to keep his house. Number 10, a wise woman in the city of Abel stopped the attack on her city by Joab when she agreed to throw the head of Sheba over the wall. A wise woman in the city of Abel stopped the attack on her city by Joab when she agreed to throw the head of Sheba over the wall. All right, let's trade papers with somebody. Number 9, when David came back to Jerusalem, he rejoined his 10 concubines that were left behind to keep his house. All right. Don't overthink the thing, just answer the question. Okay. All right. Let's trade papers with somebody. All right. Number 1, Shimei of the household of Saul cursed David and threw stones at him. True or false? True. That is true. When David was fleeing from Absalom, while he was out there, this guy named Shimei threw stones at David, followed him, cursed him, kicked dust on his face, tried to kick dust on him and everything, while David was fleeing from Absalom. Ran alongside him, cursing David. And David's soldiers say, why don't you let me go over there and just cut his head off? And David said, no. Say, let him curse me. Say, God told him to curse me. David believed this. God, this is God saying curse David. So David did not let them kill him. Now, when David came back to Jerusalem, can anybody tell me what Shimei did? After Absalom was defeated, what did Shimei do?
He fell down before the king and asked the king to say, don't take it to heart. In other words, like, I didn't mean to do what I done.
Yeah, he said, I have sinned. And he was one of the main ones. He said, I'm one of the first ones to come and welcome you back. And so don't take it at heart because I did wrong. He said, I know I did wrong, but he asked for forgiveness. So what did David do? Did David kill it? Because somebody said, let me go ahead and kill him. So what did David do after he came back?
He told him there ain't nobody going to die today.
All right. So David forgave him. David came back with a good attitude. He came back with a good attitude, and he forgave him for what he had done. That didn't sound like David, but that was. Okay, so the answer to number 1 is true. Number 2, Absalom went in unto, laid with his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Is that true or false? True. That is true. Why did he do that? Anybody have any idea why he did that? Sister Anderson. Yeah, he did that because what was the counselor name? Ahithophel? Yeah, he gave Absalom counsel and say, now your hand is weak right now. Because, and basically he was saying that the people might think that you might turn back and back in what you're doing. But if you go out there and have sex with his concubines, then the people would know that you mean business. And so he did that at the council of Ahithophel to strengthen his hands so that the people that were following him would know that he was serious about what he was doing, taking the throne. So the answer to that is true. Number 3, Ahithophel gave Absalom counsel to attack David while he was weak and weary. True or false? That is true. After Absalom got into the city, and he asked Ahithophel. Now, Ahithophel, the Bible says that Ahithophel's counsel was always good. Whatever he advised, it was almost like God speaking because he was wise and he made good decisions. And he told him, say, while David running, while he weary, while he tired, chase after him and go ahead on and kill him now. That's what Ahithophel's advice was. Okay? Number 4, Absalom followed the counsel of Ahithophel because he was a wise counselor. Is that true or false? False. That is false. Now, why did he not? Let's see, that's chapter number 17.
I can answer.
Okay, why did he? Okay, Carol.
He didn't, because I don't know how to say. I think it's Hahishim, something. Anyway, the other, yeah. Well,
okay, I'm trying to go back so I could.
He basically was just like, in other words, don't do that because David. He was like, David is mighty. David's strong.
Hushai, that was the other counselor's name.
Hushai, okay, yeah, him. But he was basically telling him like, no, like you might not want to do that, partner. Like David's strong. Like he gonna come and you gonna lose. Like you basically setting yourself up to be killed, basically, if you follow that advice.
Yeah, but now if he had followed Ahithophel's advice, he probably would have won and got there because David was tired and everything. But Hushai knew that. And so he was David's friend. See, whenever David was going to, whenever he was in hiding, he sent, what's the name? Hushai, Hushai. He sent Hushai back so that he could find out what's going on and then send him word. So Hushai was actually a friend of David's. And whenever Ahithophel gave his advice, then Absalom said, well, let's see what Hushai got to say. And so Hushai said, no, you don't need to follow him now because David is mighty, he's a mighty man. All those that's following him is a mighty man. And he said that David probably won't be out there in the open anyway. David will be he'll be in somewhere in a pit. And then once you lose, then you're going to lose all your people. And so then what he do? He went and sent a messenger to David and let David know what the plan was and told David, you better get on out of there. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to ask y'all this. What did Ahithophel do when he found out that Absalom did not follow his counsel? Sister Scott.
He went home, got his house in order,
and hung himself. That's something. Just because they didn't take his advice, he hung himself. Carol.
Not be the same correlation, but when it said that he hung himself, I thought about Judas, and then the question in my head, it was like, why every time, I'm not gonna say that they betray someone, but like that their plan doesn't actually go through, why do they always resort to hanging themselves? That was just something that I thought about, but like I thought about Judas in that moment of the hanging himself. I don't know.
Yeah. Now the difference is that Judas tried to repent. He knew he had done wrong. And I heard a commentator on TV, on radio one time saying that what Judas did when he betrayed Christ, what Judas was actually doing was trying to get Christ to stand out, to stand up. He felt like if enough pressure was put on him, then he would show himself mighty as the king of, as David's son, and would actually do it. But the Bible says that the devil was working through Judas all the time. But Judas he said, I have betrayed innocent blood. And so he asked for them to take the money back. And they told him, we don't want this dirty money. That money dirty now. guy, it was pride that caused him to go and hang himself. Because he had given counsel, and that's what he was. He was the king's counselor, and then they didn't take his advice, and it was number pride to make him go and kill himself. Sister Anderson.
Okay. So that meant that Ahithophel, he was operating from the wrong type of heart. His heart wasn't right.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's why he did all those little conniving things that he did. He was in that position, like you say, pride had taken over, and he was in that position for himself.
Yeah, and see, actually, he was David's counselor too. But whenever Absalom took over, then he flipped sides and started working with Absalom. Okay. Number 5. David gave the captains of his army a command to deal gently with his son Absalom. True or false? What did he mean, deal gently?
Not killing.
Don't kill my son. That's what he was saying. Yeah, do not kill my son. Deal gently with him. Yeah. And so since it's not on the questions and stuff, what happened to Absalom? Kyle. Okay.
I promise I'm gonna give y'all a chance to answer, but anyway, he was on a mule, and it said that the mule got, I guess, tripped in a burrow. I think that's what a burrow, yeah, branch. But he got, he got hung in the tree starts with a T, the trucks. He got hung in the tree branches, yeah. Because I even looked up the tree, and I'm like, what kind of tree is this? But yeah, that's what happened to him.
Okay.
Oh, and then he ended up, so he was not dead. Was it Joab? Yes, it was Joab, saw him. He struck him in the heart, but that did not kill him. And then 10? Okay, 10 people came and they finished him off. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, the 3, dark.
Yeah, they put 3 darts in his heart. Okay, Sister Owens.
Wasn't it his hair got caught up in there, in that tree, in that oak tree?
Okay, I tried to look for that because I saw a commentator that said that's what happened. He got hung by his hair because we talked about last week, how his hair grew and every year he would cut it because the hair was so heavy. And I have read before that that's what happened. His hair got hung up in the tree. I was trying to figure out how he got hung up in a tree, and that might exactly be it, but I tried to find that in this, but I didn't find how he got hung, but it said that he was hung up. Yeah, I've heard that before. That I have. Okay, Sister Jackie. In the NIV? Okay. Well, a lot of times the NIV and the NLT, they explain in more depth than the King James. But that's what I had heard too in the past that is here. Because I was trying to pick up my mind how he going to get hung on a tree branch. So it had to be something. But it said he was suspended between the air and the ground. And he was just hanging there. And apparently he hung there for a while. Because when the person saw him, he didn't do anything. He went back and told Joab. And then when he told Joab, Joab said, why didn't you go ahead on and kill him? Joab said, why you didn't go ahead on and kill him? Joab said, I would have gave you 10 shekels of silver. That man told him, said, I don't care if you gave me 1,000 shekels of silver. Say, if I had killed him, then David would have had you to kill me. So I ain't falling for that tree. So he went. So he told Joab, and then Joab went, and Joab put a spear in him, and then got 10 other men that followed him, and all of them went ahead on to finish Absalom off. But apparently he was savable if they had just took him down. But they didn't take him down because he wasn't dead yet. But he had to be hung by a hair or something, because they say he was an oak tree. And he got hung in the oak tree, and he was just suspended up in the air, and he couldn't get free. And so, ma'am?
You know, last week we talked about that hair
Yeah.
that he had and how heavy it was. So that makes sense that he got caught. I should be laughing.
Yeah, so that's a good possibility, but I tried to find it in here where it mentioned in the King James Version, but I didn't know it was like in the NIV.
And Pastor,
Yes.
it said that the branches were thick on that limb. They
Yeah.
were real thick that got his hair tied up.
Yeah, because it says that the woods kill more people than the sword. Because they were fighting in the woods. It wasn't like on an open field. They were in the woods. And the Bible says more people died in the woods than died from the sword. That's bad. Okay. Now, it says in verse number 6, that's where it's 6, right? Yeah. When David heard of the death of his son Absalom, he wept for his son. True or false? True. That was true. He kept saying, "Oh, Absalom, my son Absalom." And he just kept grieving and kept grieving. And when he kept grieving, everybody else started grieving because David was grieving, except for one person. Let's see down here. Number 7. It says, Joab grieved with the king over the death of Absalom, the king's son. Did Joab grieve with him? No. The answer is false. Yeah. And not only that, but Joab, what's the right word? He reproved David. He told David, all these folk out here fighting for you and giving their life for you, and you weeping over your enemy. Say, well, how you think these people gonna feel? You got the victory, and they fought for you to get the victory, and now you weeping over killing the enemy. Say, straighten yourself up. And I think David was afraid of Joab.
He said you would have preferred that Absalom lived and we all died.
Yeah.
He said, if you don't get up from here and go out there and talk to the people, you ain't gonna have no people.
Yeah, he talked hard to David, but he was telling the truth. He talked hard to David. You know, you weeping over the enemy. You saying you would rather for him to kill us. How many of y'all know that was some good reading, wasn't it? Okay. Okay. So the answer is false. Joab did not grieve. Joab killed him. And number 8, Shimei was put to death for his evil deeds toward the king after the king's victory. True or false? That's false. We already answered that one. Now, Shimei was the one that threw stones at David when he was leaving. And then whenever David came back, he got 1,000 men from Judah, from Benjamin. 1,000 men from Benjamin to greet David when he came going back to Jerusalem. And he said, look here, that's what I'm doing. I'm supporting you. And say, be kind. Basically, don't charge me. Don't take it to heart because I was nasty. Forgive. And so David did. I was surprised. Number 9. When David came back to Jerusalem, he rejoined his 10 concubines that were left behind to keep his house. True or false? True. Sister Scott, what did you say?
I say he put them in a house, he put them up, he took care of them.
Well, I think we got a problem with the word rejoined, I guess, because he did not rejoin with them. He locked them away, he fed them, and he took care of them, but they became widows for the rest of their life. He didn't go back in there because his son had been with him. But because y'all controversial, we'll just let you have that one either way. But the real answer is false. He did not rejoin with them.
We can have it, though.
We'll let y'all have it.
We'll take it. Thank you.
Okay. So he did not rejoin with them. What he did was he put them in a separate house to themselves, and he fed them as long as they lived, but he never went into them. He never rejoined with them. He never went into them.
So the rejoin was saying that
He,
to sleep with them.
Okay, I'm gonna let y'all have that one, cause maybe I just picked a bad choice of words. I should've picked a better choice of words. Okay, all right. Anyway, we'll let y'all have that one either way, okay?
Let it go, be
Okay.
thankful.
Okay, number 10. A wise woman in the city of Abel stopped the attack on her city by Joab when she agreed to throw the head of Sheba over the wall. True or false?
True.
That is true. Now, somebody tell me, who was Sheba?
He was somebody's son, let me see.
He was what?
I can't remember that. I don't know.
Do y'all remember who Sheba was? Okay. Sheba was this agitator that when David came back, he didn't want to receive David back as king.
He was the one who did what, Pastor?
He didn't want to receive David back when he came. And he had the men of Israel. The men of Israel did not want to go back and join with David and become a part of the kingdom. And so the men of Judah followed David still. And then Shimei told David he was taking the 10 tribes and he was leaving. They didn't want David. So David didn't do anything right then. But whenever they assembled, every man went back to his tent. David told Abel, what's his name? Let me see what his name is. It's Joab's brother. What's Joab's brother's name?
I don't know. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah. Abel. No, that Abathar, that's the name of the priest. But I wanted y'all to see that. Well, you remember Joab had two brothers. And one of his brothers, Abner, killed. Y'all remember that? And the other brother was one of the people over the army, Abishai. So David divided his army into three groups. He had Joab over one group. Abishai, who was Joab's brother, was over another group. And then this other guy, he had three groups. Now, what happened was, after they killed Joab, after they killed Absalom, a guy named Amishai, I believe that was his name, wasn't it? He was Amisha. He was Absalom's soldier, chief. He was over Absalom's army. And then when the fighting was over, David was still upset with Joab. So he made Amishai over his army in Joab's place. And he sent Amishai, he sent him to go and to do this thing concerning Sheba, because Sheba, he told us, if we let Sheba get by, he'll divide the kingdom worse than Absalom did. So he sent him, but he didn't show up at the time they thought. So he told Abathar, who was Joab's brother, where's that coming from? Okay, we got some static going up in y'all. Anyway, he told him to go and find Sheba and kill him. Well, while they were going, Amishai showed up. And Joab, with his nasty self, told the man, said, "Brother, are you okay?" And came up to him like he was going to kiss him. And he pulled a sword out and killed him. Now, that's the same thing that he did to Abner. Y'all remember that? Joab did the same thing to Abner. Because, see, David and Abner had made up. And Abner was going to help David secure the whole kingdom. But because Abner had killed Joab's brother, he sneaked upon Abner and killed him the same way. Act like he was a friend and killed him. And that's why David said, Abner, you died like a fool died. He said your hands wasn't tied, your feet wasn't tied. You know this man was your enemy, and you let him come upon you. But see, David was afraid to do anything to Joab because Joab was over the army. And then Joab's brother was also over the army too. So David didn't do anything to him. But then David replaced him with Amisha, and that turned out to be bad because Joab knew he had power. He didn't care. He wasn't scared of David or nobody. All right. Who got him all right? Okay. I believe power got him all right, y'all. Now, is your name in on the page, Carol? So this is your first time this year? Okay. All right. All right, Sister Owens. Sister Owens is a regular. That's it. How many did that give Sister Owens? That gives Sister Owens 7. Brother Owens, did I miss you? Did you have your hand up? No. Well, maybe I forgot to mark it down. Let's see. Sister Owens. And let's see. Let me find it again. Go back. Sister Scott said, go back and watch it. Okay. You had 7 last week. Okay. We'll go back and double check that because I don't remember. All right. Sister Scott, got them all right. Sister Jackie got them all right. Okay, Minister Van got them all right. Sister Jackie Bacon, that gives Sister Jackie 6. Deacon Brother Robert.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Like you don't see me. How many did that give me, Pastor?
Okay, that make you have 2.
2.
How many?
2.
That's what I got on my book is 2.
You remember I was telling you before how wishy-washy it was like? That would have been 2. You remember me telling you that?
So you're supposed to have 3.
So there should be 3.
All right. Sister Scott said, go back and watch this.
You remember me telling you wishy-washy, how you was wishy-washy with the stove? Remember that was giving me 2, and you brought that word up.
About the wishy-washy.
About that wishy-washy.
You sure that wasn't last time, last month, last 6 months?
That was back in the...
That's been this year, since January. That's been since January. That was, Brother Owen said that was last year, that wasn't this year.
I can't say nothing.
Okay. All right. Now, okay, did I get everybody's name? Okay, I'm going to double check with Sister Owens, because we'll go back and look at the one last.
Yeah, go back and check mine, too.
Okay, I'm really thinking yours was last year, but I'm gonna take a chance on that one. Okay, about the wishy-washy. I think the wishy-washy was last year, but we'll check. I'll check and make sure.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, all right, because we don't want to cheat nobody out what they're supposed to have.
I don't want to cheat nobody, but I want to get what I deserve.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, how many only got one wrong? Okay, Sister Anderson, which one you got wrong?
Number 8, and I do it right there so I can put down the wrong thing.
got number 8 wrong?
I got number 8 wrong too.
Number 8.
Might give it to you. Pastor might give it to y'all.
You got number 7.
Yeah, so give me that for
All right, let me look at number 8 again. Shimei, I was put to death. Oh, no, I can't give y'all that. Yeah, because he wasn't put to death after David showed mercy on him. Okay. How many only got 2 wrong? All right, Brother Owens, which 2 you got?
3 and 7.
3 and 7. Look at that 7, because Sister Smiley got 7 wrong too. Jacob grieved. Joab grieved. You know Joab didn't grieve over nothing. Yeah, okay. Did you read? Okay, all right. All right. How many only got 3 wrong? All right. Brother Evans only got 3 wrong. All right. Well, I think y'all did good. Okay, how many chapters we got left in there? Okay, so next week you only got 4 chapters. Yes, ma'am. How many points do you have? Okay, you got 4. I'm gonna tell you, y'all need to make sure y'all write down some stuff, because I've been thinking I got it right. I did. Yeah. Okay.
She supposed to have what the minister was here before they gave it to us. I did, I took it, and I don't look at nothing. I took it. All by myself, so I got, when I was sick, I got 2. Yep. I had 2 100. So please adjust your record. Because you said it, Pastor, so you said it.
But if I said it, then I probably wrote it down. If I said it. Just get everybody. Okay, Sister Smiley. But I'm checking on you now, Sister Smiley. Okay. Sister Smiley. I don't see no. I don't see no smiling down here. I ain't got a smiley on my book. Oh yeah, now last year, okay, so I wrote yours down for the night, and I was gonna go ahead and write it down for others. Somebody said, check the book, so you know, check the film and stuff. Okay. No, not yet. But I know I wrote down. I thought I wrote down both of yours, but I know I wrote down the one from last week. I did. Okay. Okay. All right. When in doubt, I'll take the hit. Okay. So we'll give you another one, Sister Anderson, in case I didn't write it down. But I know I wrote down the one last week, and I'm thinking I wrote down the one before that. Sister Owens. Ma'am. Well, that is a thought. Yeah, I was, okay, I was pretty sure, I know I wrote it down last week, but then there might be another time that I didn't write it down. Okay, Sister Bacon. You have, Sister Bacon, you got 6. Okay. Okay, Sister Bacon got 6, Sister Wanda Scott got 9. Is that right for you?
No, I'm supposed to have 10. She get messing with you.
Now it's bad to tell a lie now, anywhere. But it's really bad if you're gonna sit in the house. Okay, Sister Harris got 10.
Okay, I got the same one she got.
Yeah, 'cause they had 9 last week.
Okay, yeah, I didn't write yours down for tonight.
Yeah, and they made 100 tonight, so that gives them each team.
Yeah, okay. Because I know when I was looking around, I got Kyra and then I jumped over this way. And I didn't go back and I didn't give you yours for tonight. Okay, so that gives Sister Scott 10 and Minister Van 10. And Sister Owens got 7. Brother Murphy got 7. Sister Anderson 5. Sister Jackie Baker 6. And, okay, Sister Connie Black, she had 3. Brother Robert Jenkins 3. And then we got several ones down here. Okay.
So this started in January.
This goes from January through June. This is the first half, the first 6 months. Okay. All right, y'all did. And like you say, next week we only got 4 chapters. Okay. All right, so everybody ought to make 100 again next week. What? You only got 4 chapters? Yeah,